Stephen Vogt, year 2. Here we are, though. The calendar is flipped. Spring training right around the corner here. Do you have the itch to get going already? Are you ready to get back to it, that long grind into the season?
I am, yeah. I think, the offseason gets shorter and shorter every year, especially going deep into the playoffs, even shorter offseason, which I'll take every year, by the way. I'll take a short offseason. But it's exciting. As soon as the calendar flips into January, your baseball, the juices start flowing. It's like we got to get going. And so I'm really excited to see our guys in Goodyear here in a couple weeks.
Same manager, a lot of the same faces on your coaching staff returning, and to an extent, a lot of the same players. For you, does the message stay the same, or do you have to tweak it now going into year 2?
I think the message stays the same, and that's where we're here to win a World Series. That if you don't want to win a World Series, don't come to Goodyear. And I think for us, it's how do we maximize our potential every single day? And that's what we did last year. It's what we're going to do this year. And we can't do anything about last year. We have to look forward and how do we get better? And I think the only change is this is a new group. Yeah, it's mostly the same, and so there's going to be a lot of similarities, but every year is a different year. Every year is a different team. So it's what identity are we going to have? And we're going to find that when we're in Goodyear, and then it's our job as a staff to keep that identity going throughout the year.
What do you think you'll take the most with you from year 1? I mean, I know it's not reflection of your life right now to sit back and say, well, I go back. But like when you look back on year 1, what do you think you'll take with you the most?
I think just having the experience of knowing what start to finish feels like and looks like. You spend the first year of any new job, you're just trying to navigate each day because you don't know what's ahead of you. You don't know what might happen. And but reflecting on that of, okay, now I know what it feels like to go from day 1 of spring training through the last game of the year. And you can see, okay, I could do a little more of this. I can do a little less of that. I could do a little more. And you kind of figure out different ways that you can navigate the job. And so for me, I'm going to take away the fact that, okay, I have done this before. So now where can I get better? Where can I learn more? Where can I learn faster and continue that process?
It was your first year as a big league manager, yet it felt like at times you had been doing it for 20 years. I know it's not easy, so I got to ask this the right way. Why did it seem like it was so easy? I mean, what do you give that credit to?
The people. Yeah. It comes down to people. Everybody's good at baseball. Everybody's a smart coach. Everybody can do this, but when you're surrounded by good people and you're surrounded by people that want to help you get better, things come faster. You learn faster. So for me, the players went out and played well. The coaches coached well. And yes, I pushed people and helped move that. It's not like I didn't do anything, but there were times where I felt like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like the players are playing great. Our coaches are doing excellent. I'm surrounded by great people, and that allowed me to just go out and think the game and make decisions.
Was it almost easier than you thought? I mean, you think big league manager, you're one of 30 in the world. Was it almost like, okay, I can do this? Was there a point that it hit you?
Easy's not the right word to say. No, I won't use that word, but comfortable. It was comfortable. I've been preparing for this for a long time. I've asked so many questions over the years of, what do you do in this situation? Or how would you have handled that? And whether I took what they said and applied it, or took what they said and said, that doesn't sound right. So I've had a number of people help prepare me for that job, and none more than Chris, Mike, and Matt in the front office. And I felt like a lot of the things we talked about on the front end, I was able to recognize early and get ahead of. So I had a tremendous amount of support.
You were prepared. It just felt like nothing. It was always like, I remember Terry Francona used to tell us he's always trying to think of the next thing. Like that's kind of how you manage a ball game. You're thinking about the 7th inning when you're in the 5th inning. It felt like you were never not prepared. And that's a credit to you and to your staff and to the front office, I think.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I do feel that way. And, again, having Craig Counsell as a mentor, Bob Melvin, and a lot of the number of great managers that I played for, Scott Service working for him, and hearing the things that they would talk about. I just put them in the memory bank, and and having Carl Willis next to me, he'd throw an idea out. And there's obviously a few times where we got caught off guard early in the year, and and a couple times where throughout the year it's going to happen. But the more you go through those things, you're able to see it coming.
That Tigers series in the playoffs, we're going to look ahead, but I got to go back to the playoffs a little bit. High leverage, high octane. What was that like? I think about Game 4 there, Game 5 here. Just having a front row seat to that series against a division rival. What was that like?
It was so much fun. reflecting on that and talking with Albie, we were prepared. Our players were prepared. There weren't moves that happened that we weren't ready for, and I think all of that preparation you put in, and you just get to watch great baseball, and your guys are the ones doing it. And when David Fry hit that pinch hit homer, it was so happy for him and for us, but just seeing the excitement on everybody's face. And what a fun series. Two teams that do things similarly, a lot of moves, a lot of pinch hits, a lot of different bullpen arms, and it was a really fun series to watch.
You and Hinch, you guys wore out a path, I think, from the dugout to the pitcher's mound at both stadiums, just the way that all the pitching changes, the moves, the mixing and matching, it was like, that was baseball right there.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, you saw one game 3, where nothing went right, and then you see games 4 and 5 where everything went right. So it's baseball, and it's beautiful.
The Yankees series in the ALCS, it only goes 5 games. It felt much closer than that, didn't that? Or is that just me with a Cleveland bias?
No, we were in every game. That's the thing. I remember, obviously disappointed. Obviously wish we would have, played better, won some more of those games. But we gave them everything we had. We fought them till the end. And, even every game seemed to be back and forth. We were in every game. It's not like we got boat raced or blown out. So those are the ones that sting. And that series definitely stung, and we're hoping to win that one this year.
We are not going to pick apart any managerial decisions here on January 27th from that series, but you're human. You've had the whole offseason. Is there anything you would have done differently, whether it was, Game 4 and, having Bybee pitch to Stan? Anything you would do differently or?
No, I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, like I said at the end of the year, you can't go back and change it. So what's the point of beating yourself up over it, and learn from it? And I think for me, the only thing I would hope is just we get it done. I think back to the couple moves we could have done differently, and it's like, well, it just didn't work. And those are the kinds of things that you look back on, and you think about, should you put Stanton on, should you not? And it's like, well, if you put him on and Jazz Chisholm hits a 3-run homer, you're losing. So there's all these different things that happen, and the what-if game gets you in trouble, or the woulda, coulda, shoulda game gets you in trouble, and it's not productive at all.
I look at the guys that were in that clubhouse afterwards. There were so many tears, guys that cared. Stephen, you probably know this, being around certain clubs, and I see it in football and baseball sometimes. You wonder how much pro athletes care. Everyone's like, oh, they're making all this money. Who cares? Guys were heartbroken after that loss. I mean, Bybee was in tears. Guys were beat up. It just feels like you guys have that right mix, that right culture, and that there was emotion there that I think sometimes guys in your position don't get credit for. I mean, you guys care. I mean, the money's one thing. Forget it. I mean, you guys were beat up over that.
Yeah, I think one of the things I always say to the players and to the coaches is this job, this business, this game is hard. And you can make an unbelievable living for your family, and you should. I hope everybody makes as much money as they can. But at the end of the day, for 3 hours a night, you're a 12-year-old kid that gets to go play baseball. And for those 3 hours, go be that kid and enjoy playing. And our guys lived that. You could see the passion, the joy, the energy. And when it matters, it hurts. The emotions are real. You get angry, you get sad, you're happy, you're elated, everything in between. And we were all crying that night because you've worked for 8 months to get to this point, and you know that you're capable of winning it all, and you fall short. You're going to have emotions. And so our players were shook up. I was shook up. It was an emotional night. And like I said, I couldn't be more proud of what our guys accomplished last year, but we know that there's more, and we want more.
All right, let's start looking ahead to this year. You bring back Shane Bieber. I remember after when we found out he needed surgery, we interviewed him. It was close to opening day. And just seeing him there, I said to myself, he'll probably never pitch in Cleveland again. Here you guys are. You sign him. He's coming back. Just how much are you looking forward to working with him, and the fact that he said the people being comfortable here, that just all played a part into it?
I think it's huge for us, obviously, but for Shane as well. And gets to finish his rehab with the people that he knows, trusts, loves, and we're going to make sure we do right by him and wait until he's fully ready to go before we bring him back. And I think we all love to see Shane Bieber throw in Cleveland more, and so I'm just elated he's coming back.
There were some trades made. There's faces that change. It happens every year in baseball. Just what you guys have done over this offseason, just How do you look at that? How do you view that? There's obviously the human aspect, right, of guys leaving. That's always got to be tough.
Yeah, it's hard. Anytime you lose someone off your team that you care about, it's really difficult. And we lost a number of players this offseason. And with Josh and Andre specifically, it's hard when you lose someone like that. But it creates opportunity for other people. And that's the way we look at it, it is what it is. And it's going to hurt for a little bit, but once we get to Goodyear and this team starts to come together, there's opportunities for a lot of people to step up and take those at-bats and contribute to our success.
This division, we talked about the Tigers. They're not going anywhere. The Royals will get better. The Twins will be back and better. I don't think the White Sox will be as historically bad as they were. So just this division, I feel like for years we talked about the AL East. The AL Central, Skip, is like, this is a grind.
It's 5 very, very similar teams. And, like you said, the White Sox are going to be better. The Royals, Tigers are getting better. The Twins are always going to be good, and we're always going to be good. So I think for us, it's going to be a dogfight. It always is. Every divisional game is tough. Everyone plays us tough. We play everyone tough. So we have our work cut out for us. And I think, again, our focus is each game one at a time, and we'll see where we're at the end of the year. But it's going to be an interesting year in the AL Central, and with 3 playoff teams and 3 playoff teams getting to the division round, it showed that we can play. We can play with the big boys.
I think about that Tigers series, that the division playing those teams so much during the year, that had to almost prepare you for what you guys went through in the postseason, right? I mean, that kind of just builds. Does it build you?
Yeah. It's nice when you play a familiar opponent and you kind of know their cadence, you know what they're going to do. There's no secrets. There's no secrets in baseball. You can see every move coming. You get the guy warming up in the bullpen. You got the pinch hitter putting his helmet on. So it's just reacting to the other team and being prepared for it. And our coaching staff, our front office, our analysts, we are the most prepared group in the big leagues.
You live the game. I mean, this is your job. The game of baseball, where it's at right now, do you like it? Do you like where it's at? People talk about the Dodgers spending boatloads of money, and I look at sometimes how the game is played where we don't view starting pitchers almost anymore, and we don't even look at 300 hitters. Like, do you feel like the game is in a healthy spot?
The talent that the players have today is the highest it's ever been. These are the best baseball players. Now, obviously, it's played differently. It's a different game. So we have more information. We have more data on how to get outs. And whether or not I like it, that's just where it is. And we have to play and adapt that way. In a perfect world, we have a starting pitcher go 9 innings every night. I think everybody wants that. So it's the way the game's going. And if there's money being spent, that means there's money out there. So it's good for the game.
Is that something you've had to balance where, I mean, when you were playing, it was like, hey, let's have that starter go 9 innings. And now it's mix and match. There was always mixing and matching in a bullpen, but it just feels a little different. It feels like sometimes the games are played on spreadsheets a little bit. And I just wonder if you've had to balance that being a player, having to kind of utilize everything.
I mean, I think the more information we can have, the more educated we're going to be. And there's still baseball feel, there's still baseball gut. I use it all the time. I don't blindly follow numbers, but I study them to make sure I'm making educated decisions. And I think the way the game has changed is that we now know how to use the information. It's not, hey, here the paper says to do this, let's go do this. No, it's you take in the human element, you take in all those things, and you come to ultimately make the decision that you feel best about, whether that's data-backed. I hope every decision is data-backed, because that's one of the ways that you're going to get held to the right thing. So the game is what it is. It's the best game on the planet, still is, always will be, and people go out and play it. There's no numbers that go out and play it. People go out and play it.
The baseball purist in me, you had me pacing in the press box in Detroit when you threw a pinch hitter there in the second inning. I said, what is going on here?
Yeah, for that game where we were, it was the right move.
By the end of the season, I think you'd admit this, the bullpen looked like it had pitched a little bit. I'm not going to say it was worn out. Guys were still high velocity and everything, but it seemed like, was that every club you feel like they deal with that at that point in the year? Or do you think there's a part of you that says maybe going into the season, those guys aren't being used as much? Like, how do you view the bullpen usage?
I thought our bullpen guys were great. They carried us majority of the year. They kept us in games and won games for us. And when you get into the playoffs, that's what happens. You look around, you watch the rest of the postseason, the bullpen guys get used. And every out is so precious, especially those last 9. And, it's it's one of just the way the game has gone, where the bullpen guys are some of your better pitchers and some of your best pitchers. So you want to use them in those big moments.
For this club, CC Sabathia goes into Cooperstown, one of the all-time greats. I was trying to think of who would be next from a Cleveland uniform. You think of Jose Ramirez. You have the opportunity to manage him all the time. Just what's that like, just having a chance? I know it's funny during the season you say, I'm running out of things to say about the guy. I know you guys need me to talk about him, but I'm running out of things to say. Just what is it like watching him go about his business every night?
I say it all the time. The favorite part of this job is I get to watch Jose Ramirez play and work every day. And he's the ultimate teammate, ultimate competitor. He works extremely hard, and he's one of the best players on the planet. And all of those things tie into that. And what Jose brings to our team, to the city, everything, he's a top 5 player in this league, if not higher. And we get to watch it every night, and it's super special.
It will be a big summer at Cooperstown for Cleveland. Sabathia's going in, Tom Hamilton's going in. Let me just get something from you on both guys. CC, what do you remember him? You faced him. Just him going in first ballot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously CC's probably one of the most dominant pitchers that I had the fortunate or unfortunate pleasure of facing. And to see him go in is really cool, just knowing I competed against him, and didn't go well for me when I did face him. So what he means to Cleveland, what he means to New York, like just the person, the teammate, the person he was in the community. He's somebody to root for, and to see him going into the Hall of Fame is really special. And for Hammy, I'm spoiled. I get to talk to him every day pregame, and Cleveland fans are spoiled that they get to listen to him telling our story to them over the radio. And he brings Progressive Field to life with no pictures, and very few have done it better, if any. And so for Hammy, what a great honor for him. He brings us so much joy night in and night out, listening to him describe Guardians baseball, and really thankful I've gotten to know him.
I've had an opportunity to cover different Cleveland managers, and I think I told you this before. You already mentioned the word World Series, and I remember I go back to Eric Wedge, Manny Acta, Terry Francona. It feels like none of them ever mentioned World Series, playoffs. You've done that really since day one. Where does that come from? I feel like if you had mentioned that to some guy, oh, we're not talking about that. What are you talking? Like, you're pretty open about it.
Yeah, it's our goal. Yeah. You can't accomplish it today, but let's not lose sight that this is what we're working for. We're not working to win Tuesday night. Winning Tuesday night is going to help us get there, but every day our focus is how do we get better today? How do we win today? With the ultimate goal being the World Series. And I want to win. I want our guys to want to win. I want that word to be floating around, because let's not forget what our goal is. We can't accomplish it today, but we can be working every day to get to that goal.
What's your favorite part of this job?
The people, the players, the coaching staff, everyone who works. It's a people job, and I love the fact that I get to watch our guys go out and have success, and I get to work with everyone who's helping our players be at their best getting to game time. And it's by far my favorite part, is watching one of our guys, knowing that he worked on something pregame, or he's been working on something for a week, and then see it click and see him go execute, and knowing that there's been 15 people that have put in the legwork for that one little adjustment, and that the player got it and it clicked and had success. There's nothing more beautiful than watching that process come.
You guys had such a special group last year. It was just like, is there a part of you that's like, I hope that we can do that again? I mean, you go into that clubhouse, guys legitimately liked each other. I mean, there's clubhouses I walked into in Cleveland, guys didn't like each other. I mean, those guys legitimately liked each other. They loved playing for you, playing for each other. Like, do you think about that going into spring training? Like, how do I create that again? How do we do that? How do we keep that special feeling?
I think, the players create it. The players are the ones that drive it. It's our job as a staff to hold it. And when you show up to work every day with a smile on your face and be in a good mood, it makes people want to come to work. And when people want to come to work, they want to work hard. And when they want to work hard, they're going to get better, and they're going to go out and win some games. And winning definitely helps with that culture. I mean, winning helps people be in a good mood. But the culture that our players, they've had it here for years. It wasn't just new all of a sudden last year. I have to recognize that. But it's a special group of people. When you think about Jose Ramirez, Austin Hedges, David Fry, Shane Bieber, these are people that you want to be around. They're adders. They're going to add to you. They're going to bring you up. And that's what it takes to have great chemistry. And our guys have that and have had it for a while.
You did a great job in year one. We're looking forward to year two. I know Guardians fans in Cleveland, it's like the first sign of spring. We're seeing the equipment trucks leaving for spring training. You guys will be out there in the desert getting ready, and we can't wait. I know you guys are just as excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to start hearing the catcher's mitts pop and the bats crack. It's going to be a beautiful thing.